Hey doing, guys? Here we are for our Saturday slate. Panthers and the Seagulls will start us off, and I actually just recorded for about 30 minutes of this without hitting the record button. So I've got it on the podcast, but not on the video. So if you want to get the longer version, then jump over to the podcast on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, whatever you use there. We'll make this one a little bit shorter this time. But the Panthers and Seagulls, we got Brian Totter in amazing form again, and 65 points, averaging 62 has been absolutely incredible for all of our teams. And if you had him from the start, then you've absolutely killed it. And if you've brought him in over the last few weeks, you've done great also. 100 meters less this week. What a softie. What's he doing? 6 tackle breaks, 2 line breaks, and a try. Awesome work for him. Good to see Trbojevic back with 63. And us, speaking about him in the past there with him losing so much money there, is that he could be a solid option over obviously either the next week or two, or also going into following the first buy round or something like that, because he is 140k undervalued because he always does average in that mid 50s across the season. So a much better game for him. It was good to see him get back into that output, but keep an eye on him as you go along. Cleary was 61, his lowest score of the year. Ugh, what a terrible option. He's been good. If you bought him in this week, you're probably a little bit annoyed they only got 61, but other than that, he's been incredible. A 91 average, did a bit of everything again, but just didn't have all the crazy attacking stats that I suppose we come to expect from him. So well done to Cleary. 1.14 mil. He'll finally stop making money. Fish Harris 61, Tapau 58, Martin 55. Tommy with 50 and just did a bit of everything, which was great. 206 meters, obviously had a long range try, but it's good to see him up over 100 meters every game, because that was kind of his issue in previous years, is the lack of meters and the lack of sort of tackle breaks there. And that's what stops him getting in that sort of top 5, top 6 wing fullbacks. Whereas if you can keep those meters up, at least 100, 150 and 4, 5, 6 tackle breaks with all these attacking stats that he brings, then he should be able to average 50 plus, and 61 average over the first 3 games has been perfect. Great to see him not injured at all, which is awesome. Schuster there with 45 as a just under 52 average for the season. You're really happy with his output. Just doing a little bit of everything. A couple of forced dropouts. Did have a pretty average kick there at the end, trying to do it all himself, but obviously a massive talent and is doing great on that edge, and you keep him there and keep him in your team and use him as an interchange player, or you can have him starting on your edge or in your half position. So good stuff for him. Coruscant, it's good to see him come back into the game and get a nice 60 minutes there and 43 points. So if you're looking for him to get closer to 80 minutes like he should get to across the next bunch of weeks, then it'll be interesting to see his price drop a little bit before there's a chance that you could pick him up in that getting closer to that round 13 buy, as he won't be playing Origin, for example. So keep an eye out on Appy and see how he goes there. Edwards with 42, really happy with his output. Obviously a couple of a try assist and a try there. 205 meters, just didn't get the tackle breaks that we come to expect from him in previous years. So previous games there. So if he brings that into the game and has a few attacking stats as well, he's in the 60s and 70s, which is what we expect from him every few games there. So still a great option heading towards at round 13 buy. But again, you probably want him to get some lower scores like this, so he doesn't make too much money before you bring him in, if you're thinking about it. Saab with 41, it's good to see him score some points. For anyone who owns him, he's still at 228k, so an incredible cash cow, averaging 19.6. So if you had to play him, well done. You got some good scores. Got a good score there. DCA with 40, and again, just that roller coaster of emotions with him, and a big 80, 90 score, and then again gets a 40 for his 59.4 season average. So just didn't have to do a lot. Got a nice rebound off his kick for a try. So again, you're expecting some bigger scores against some of the lesser teams for DCE, but you just you kind of have to roll with the punches with him if you've brought him in, especially at around that 780, 790k mark. You've got him at a 70k discount compared to last year, so you can't really complain with a 59 average there. Capewell unfortunately gets injured, and for him, his output was great in that first half, and it's a bit of an annoying one. It's maybe we're not sure yet, but it could be a really minor one in a 1 week, or it could be like a 5 week injury. And with him, a good chance of playing Origin is probably a little bit annoying if you've been holding him and using him as a player, and it might be time to move him on if you think he's going to play Origin, especially, or if his injury is anything more than a week. So keep that in mind. Jerome Luai, I've had a bunch of people after this score message me asking, should I be getting rid of him? And I don't think you should be. there's a decent chance he plays Origin with how Panthers are going and keeping that combination together. But he's also scoring 51 at a 660k price. So his output is just more than what he's priced at. So I think you got to keep those types of players, and he's going to have the big weeks that he's had. He's a bit more up and down. He's obviously doesn't have the base stats that someone like Cleary does. So you just hold on steady. Stephen Crichton's someone to talk about because a lot of people keep mentioning him as a pickup, and I keep saying that he wasn't a keeper last year, and on that red hot left side, and he scored so many tries. So why would that be any different on the right hand side when a lot of their traffic goes down the left? Last week he just had a really good game of footy. Like he made almost 200 meters and was just in everything. And obviously that means you get the tackle breaks and the offloads, and he still even got 2 turnover tackles and a try and gets 33. So just if your gun center does that, then they're not a gun center. Like if that's what you're bringing him in for. Yes, he's probably going to play round 13 for you, but I don't think he's a keeper. So if you bring him in now at 440, there's other guys like a Jack Bird and that kind of stuff that have a better chance of doing better. So think about that before bringing him in or trading him out. I wouldn't trade him out if you have him now, but just, hold steady. Spencer with 31 in 19 minutes. He's a free K. How good is he? Just works so hard. And can't wait for the day he gets more minutes. Everyone will have him in their side. But he's going to hover between that 350 and 400K. So you can just keep him. If you don't have to play him, then it's sweet. Croker with 28. Solid efforts from him, but just not enough points, not enough tackles. Is what it is. I think it's a great time to move him on at 470k. He's done his job for you. Kikkow we talk about as people will bring him in as a keeper, and he's just the output he's giving us is not enough. At 15 tackles and 90 meters, he dominates some of the lesser teams, and then doesn't do a hell of a lot against a lot of the good teams. And he randomly goes well, but he's not a keeper. Just doesn't get enough minutes to do that on an edge. You need to be playing 80 minutes to be a really strong keeper there. Burton with 25. Okay, not a lot of people have him. Olakau Atu with a 24 in his 54 minutes. So 12 tackles is so low. How do you get 12 tackles on an edge in 54 minutes and 100 meters? So his price drops. His price will should hold steady now after a little bit of a bump this week with a low break even. But a little bit annoying if you picked him up looking to make 100 or so K out of him. If that 24 slows him down a fair bit. Wouldn't be trading him out, but something to think about. Garrick at 22. A few people have him, and it's probably almost time to move him on, I'd say. And Charlie Staines with 12, so a terrible effort from Stainsy there. And we'll move on to the Eels and the Dogs. If you're enjoying this, guys, please hit like and subscribe. I really appreciate all the love and support. How good was Gutho? 91 points. He had about 70 at the half. 2 tries, 3 line breaks, 11 tackle breaks, 260 meters. Just incredible. Got an early mark for his troubles. And how good was his little blue steel and his in his interview at the end? I think he's pretty good looking, doesn't he? Just incredible work, and averaging 58 now. He's really exceeded all expectations from last year. He's going to be up about 700k now, so that'll be 70k in price rises. So well done to Gutho, exceeded my expectations anyway. Obviously, when the Eels are going to be going well, then your fullback will do really well also. So we'll see how the Eels continue to play over the rest of the season. Papali'i's been incredible. Another 80 in 69 minutes. Looks like Sean Lane's moved to the bench and is playing sort of through the middle now. So Papa playing close to 80 minutes on an edge and then a little bit of time through the middle as well is just gold if you own him. And he's got to be the most improved player in fantasy and also in the actual game of footy this year, clearly, by far. At 813k, he's going to be up around 840, 850 this week. Is just crazy. For someone that plays middle and edge, I think that he's going to be a really good option for anyone's side going forward. Sivo with 65 was great again, and he's going to be hovering between that 450 to 500 odd K mark, and he does that every year, just up and down scores and goes missing in some games and then dominates the others. So that's him there. Reid Mane with 62, another great effort, averaging 71 for the year is incredible. This is a kind of a game a game I'd normally expect from him, but a line break and a try assist at the start of the game really made sure that he was going to get a good score, and he's still a great option at 840k for anyone who wants him. Moses with 60 this week. I think I've been talking him up a fair bit, and these are the types of scores that I'd be expecting from him on the regular. Kicking goals, the 1 try assist, and then just base stats for the rest. So well done to him, and definitely still an option going forward. Only thing to think about with him, if you want to bring him in, if you're sitting there like myself with Cleary, Foggs, Walker, Schuster, then you may not need another half. Just work out your balance of your team, especially with now that round 13 bye, if you're looking for 14, 15 players, then making sure that you have some cover across each position so that you don't get caught not being able to play someone. For example, if you aren't sure what I mean exactly like that, but please mention it in the comments, and I can try and further explain in another video or in the comments there for you. I also got Avery Low with 49, and that left foot step was great. Just did Brownie all ends up. So went on to Avery Low and his owners. I'm so annoyed that I traded him out now. Who would have thought this would he'd turn around and play like this? He's going to be up 460, 470k now going forward. So went on to Avery Low. Thompson with 48, so 56 minutes, still great again, but a PPM of just under 1. He's a hold. I wouldn't be bringing him in this week. At that price point, you probably want a little bit more out of him. It's good to see Madison come back and play a full game in the main team. So didn't do anything spectacular, but I suppose that's to be expected when you're probably a little bit worried about your poor head. So the Cardi Party's back, guys. 47 points in 44 minutes. Wouldn't be thinking about him as an option, but it's good to see him actually play some better footy and not just try too many things. I think he's got a really clear role now, and he can use his ball playing ability in that capacity. So good stuff for Cardi. Tommy Opacek, the gift that keeps on giving. 46 points, averaging 42.3. Awesome work for him. Can I call him a keeper now? I think he's obviously pretty close there. So well done to Tommy with 19 tackles, 5 tackle breaks, 120 meters. Awesome work. Didn't even have to score a try to get that score. So keep it up, Oppa. Niokore with 45 points there. So really happy with his output. If you brought him in a bunch of weeks ago, he continues to deliver at keeper level scores. He hasn't made you a lot of cash, but he's doing really well for you. So good stuff for him. We then move to Dallin with Tini Lesniak with 41. He's actually made a fair bit of cash, a bit over 100k, which is good. And then you've got Brownie there with 38. And for him, you're probably looking for him to actually score a bit less because he's going to average in that mid-50s. And if you can get him at a bit of a cheaper price over that origin period, then he could be a cool one. Elliot there with 35 is the annoying one, isn't it? Because a lot of people would have been like, oh, I'm thinking about trading this week, and we just hold one more week, and then he delivers a 35 in 70 minutes. So not good enough, and he's just not running the ball as much as he was last, in those first bunch of games, and obviously that means less tackle breaks, less offloads, and then obviously less chance of scoring tries. So not that great. Kotrick with 33, Flanagan with 30. So if you have him, a bit of a down week, but he's been still averaging in the low 50s. Who else we got there? Nathan Brown, unfortunately, getting injured. Paulo's going to be an interesting one if he continues to drop cash. I'm interested to see if he plays Origin, but he could be down closer to 500k very soon, which would be a big drop in output and price for him. Brown getting injured is very annoying. Probably looks like it might be not a ridiculously long injury, but like maybe a 4-weeker. And if that's the case, he'll be back for the round 13 bye at under 600k. So that's an interesting one. And our last one there with Hopper with 13. So that's the, not good enough. And then we move to the Roosters and the Knights game. And this was a really good game of footy, but then a really somber ending with Morris and Brett Morris and Lindsay Collins going down with suspected ACL injuries. So it's really sad to see those scenes after the game there with Brett, possibly playing his last game if he decides to retire with the rest of this year done for him. So that was sad to see, but I really enjoyed watching them play over the last few years as they're getting older. They're just so smart and they're still so fast, and just two of the best brothers to ever play the game. It's two of the best centers and wingers to ever play the game. So yeah, sad to see, but great to watch them at the same time do their thing. So Walker with 88, how good is he? He's going to be up closer to 500k after this week, and it's good to see him taking over the goal kicking duties full time and picking up a try and 4 try assists there. So a bit of everything with 80 meters gain and 210 kick meters, and even a couple of try assists off his left foot. So obviously has a lot of talent. It's good to see him around a couple of the older guys to show him the ropes and really help him get into the right positions and basically help him do his thing and succeed. So well done to him. Crichton with 70. This is kind of the output that we'd be expecting from him. Only 31 tackles and 150 meters gives him 46 base, and then you get his tackle breaks and offloads there to go along with the try, which is great. So 70 points there, and he's getting back to his average of what he started at. He was priced at 63, 64. So good stuff for Angus. Tupanua, someone we've spoken about that has been was a great option at the start of the year. Unfortunately, had some injuries, and it was like if you can hold him steady through that and get back to the starting side, then he was going to score well again, and you can see that with a 66 in only 73 minutes. So good stuff for him. Great output for someone that's at 493k. He'll start making money again. I don't think he's an option to bring in anymore, but yeah, something to think about there. If you're owning Tupanoa, well done. Frizz was 64. Back to consistency. He had a couple of weeks of down, and when you're getting 30 and 40, and then you're still averaging 62, you're scoring well in the other weeks. And if you own him, you're really happy with that. Just be aware he's going to play Origin as well. Joshy Morris with a triple and Tupou there, both really good games on that left side. Happy for them, but not really options in fantasy. Brayley, our must-have keeper, I believe, at 785k with 55 points this week. So didn't do anything crazy. Did get a line break there. So just a few demerits, and 4 points demerits. Just kind of a normal game for him. Nothing too crazy there with under 50 tackles for the first time in a while. Barnett 54 was another one of those options in that mid-range, well, almost keeper level for me. Him and Pangai, and they both score pretty well. So Barnett, I think he's just going to keep averaging around that 55 mark. So a decent option for you if you want him. Should be playing in round 13. Kurt Mann, another option I was talking about at that cheaper price for the halves. He'll start to make money now after losing 130k. So 31 tackles, 6 tackle breaks, 100 meters, 120 kick meters. Really happy with that, and that's going to keep continuing until Pearce comes back. So if you need him as an option over this next period, won't turn into a keeper for you, but should be able to average in the mid 50s and get some price rises again. So well done to him. I said a great game from Morris, but sad to see him get injured there. Watson, I think, is still pretty much a keeper level, like 53 average, another 52 points. Just the minutes is a bit of a worry at 46. He has to do a lot in that 46 minutes to score well, obviously. So just does a bit of everything, and I think they're a better team when he's out there running the ball, and that's probably why they're giving him a few less minutes, is to make sure he's fresh when he's out there on the park. Clem with 50 was good, but a lot of people would have traded him out a while ago. Hutchison with 43, and I think he's really complementing Walker well in terms of him being the organizer, and then Walker doing his thing there, which is good. Manu 42, you're happy with that at fullback, 7 tackle breaks, 220 meters, so no attacking stats other than that. Which is cool, and a 41 average for the season is solid. It's a little bit less than what he normally averages, but if you own him like I do, for example, you're happy with his 42 and his 60 last week. So, it's a good option over the bye period as well as he doesn't play around 13, but he'll be playing every game from there onwards. So if you're tempted by him, then he could be one after round 13. I think will be cool. Also, you got Takaaho with 35. If you're still owning him, it's probably a trade out. Although Lindsay Collins is going to be out now, so there may be a couple more extra minutes in the middle there. We'll see. Callum Pogba with 33, and for him, 2 low scores in a row. So if you picked him up after the 100, you're pretty annoyed. But yeah, is what it is. Unfortunately, a 58 average. He's going to average that over the season, and when they play some lesser teams, he's going to do a lot better. And over the next 4 to 5 weeks, they don't play the Storm and the Roosters anymore. So they're 2 of your powerhouses, and it only gets a little bit easier. I believe they've got Raiders next week, for example. So he should be able to score a bit better there, and I wouldn't be worrying about him, but I also probably wouldn't be picking him up right now. If you picked him up a couple of weeks ago, or you kind of hold off until after the buys. Victor with 32, probably just, wasn't good enough in his less minutes and didn't have to tackle too much. Attacking stats were there with a line break, but not too much else. And I think you can hold him, but I'd be a bit worried with the output because I don't think he's a keeper, unless he could be at the later part of the year, but right now he's not. Best with 31, an okay score, and again, someone that can drop their price a little bit before picking him up for the buy period. Lindsay, unfortunately getting injured and has done really well for owners so far, but he'll have to be moved on. Then Verrills for 29 in 50 minutes is kind of what we expect from him. He's someone that averages in the mid 40s when he plays 80 minutes. So if you average that out, he's going to be about a 40 score on that game last night. But maybe he's still a little bit worried about running the ball and stuff because he had 0 run meters. So think about that when with Verrills, that I think you can just wait a little bit longer with him until he starts getting some better scores. He's not going to gain too much money for you in that interim, or you're not going to miss out on too much. So keep an eye on him, and then Benji Marsh there. I think he's ready to be moved on, or I suppose you can just sit him on the bench there. But he'll stop making money and probably lose a little bit of cash there. So there you go, guys. That's the 3-game slate. As I said, if you wanted to get a little bit of a longer longer chat. I did about 30 minutes on the podcast there, so had to do this a second time. But if you're enjoying this, please hit like and subscribe. I appreciate all the support, and we'll catch you in the next ones. And enjoy the Sunday games. Bye, guys.